All right, I'm going to speak quietly because I'm someplace where I'm not supposed to be. I know that the background is probably blown out. I know that my face is probably too dark, but it's crazy mad sunny and it's a beautiful day and I'm in some shade, and you know, sometimes you got to make choices on how to expose, and so I'm doing the best I can. I don't really know what it's going to look like till I get home, but I'm hoping it's okay. Also focusing manually, so I'm taking kind of a risk, even though I'm about an arm's length from the camera. I'm shooting at f8. I'm up here on a campus of a college. That's the Hudson River behind me. So anyway, what I wanted to share was, it's a wrap. Like, I'm finished shooting my film, which is like, I am overwhelmed with joy. It's crazy. You know, I've been shooting for like well over a year, way over a year. I can't even think right now how long it's been. But the story is told, and after unbelievable amounts of changes and obstacles and, you know, moments of doubt where I was like, why am I doing this? Like, for what purpose? I mean, it was absolutely the hardest project that I've ever worked on in my life. But, you know, I learned a lot about, I mean, I've always been a very resilient person, somebody whose whole life has been about overcoming things, you know, doing things that people tell me I can't do, I shouldn't be able to do, I shouldn't want to do, whatever. This project tested me, definitely. You know, had some people who were supposed to be involved that didn't quite work out. The weather didn't quite work out. You know, it was a story based on winter, and we never got winter. I had to rewrite the script a number of times, and it was just an unbelievable experience. And the whole time, you know, really focusing on maintaining the story to get the point across that I'm trying to make with this story, you know, which to me was an incredibly important, compelling story that I felt that I needed to tell. Otherwise, I don't know, you know, like I felt like I couldn't do anything else in my life unless I told this story and asked these questions and just, you know, kind of created this world that would, you know, put everybody in the middle of and have them think about what we just experienced together as a community, because that's what's so cool about making art, about making theater or film, is like you get a whole bunch of people to watch it after you're finished, and so you're like creating a community, right? You're creating a whole lot of different people experiencing the same story from their own perspective, and who knows what that becomes for them. But I'm hoping that it's provocative enough, and I'm hoping that it kind of, you know, grows people's empathy so that they really think beyond just themselves, but, you know, think from themselves, you know, from the inside out. It's how I feel about memorizing work too in the theater, and I've talked about it often. And I know I'm digressing now, but I think it's important for me to do that for a moment. That, you know, one of the reasons I absolutely force myself to always memorize everything that I do, unless, you know, in situations like this where I'm just speaking off the top of my head, but, you know, when it comes to my film work or my theater work, I memorize everything. Like, you know, I'm not going to be using any teleprompters or anything like that. And it's because I feel like it's really important to get the story inside of your body, like in my body, so that I can share it with you from the inside out, you know, so that it's a part of my organs, my heart, my spleen, my kidneys, my liver, you know, everything, my circulatory system, my connective tissues, my muscles, my ligaments, my cartilage. Like, I'm sharing all of that with you, my guts, literally. You know, as opposed to doing it from the outside in, reading a teleprompter, reading a script. You know, it's like cool when you're doing readings and, you know, still developing work, but when you're finished and when you really, really want to share it, I think it's always better to have it in your body and speak it from within, you know, from the deepest parts of your soul and your spirit, you know, like your literal body, but what's inside of you is, you know, the accumulation of every experience that you've ever had in your life, every place that you've ever been, every person that you've ever met. And I think that's really important. So I digress, I admit it. But anyway, I finished shooting, and anybody in the film industry or anybody who's ever made a movie knows that that just means that I send my crew home and we applaud and we have a rap party and we have fun and all that kind of stuff. And then I go back and shoot a bunch of stuff that I got to pick up for B-roll and things like that, because I've now watched the film like 4 or 5 times just in its basic structure right now. And I realize that there's some stuff that I want to add. So, but it's easy stuff, and you know, the the real bones of it, the bones of the story are solid. They're connected. The skeleton is there, and you know, even the meat is on top of it too. Like it's a solid story already. So I'm just trying to add it to make it more beautiful and to be more clear, and to use the filmmaking skills that I have and that I've acquired to try to make the most beautiful story that I possibly can, to take this difficult material. And it's a story about suicide, and it's also a story about my incessant search for my biological mother, my biological father, my home, my identity, like all the stuff, my birth records, my original birth certificate, my medical history, like all of this stuff that has consumed my life for such a large portion of my existence. You know, I've said this before, that adoptees are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than anybody else. And so I'm honoring a bunch of people who I know personally who took their own lives over the last few years. You know, friends of mine, people I'm pretty close to. And I think people will learn a lot from this story. Even people who know me, I think, are going to learn a lot about me that they didn't know. And so what I'm really excited about is that I finished shooting. I can now get a good basic edit together and get it to Steve Peckman, my musical director. And in the meantime, I can go back and get all these pickups that I need and add those to the story, and you know, do all the final tweaking and color grading and color correcting, and you know, just try to really push it as far as I can to make it as unique as possible, but also to make it as universal as I can, so that it feels like it's your story. You know, it feels like it's our story, like it ain't all about me. You know, like I wrote it, it's my story, but I want it to be your story. I want it to be his story and her story and their story and everybody's story. I want it to be our collective story that we share together. And hopefully, like I said before, it'll, in a communal way, grow our empathy. And I'm just so excited to get to the end of it and be able to share it. But the other thing that I wanted to say was that I'm as excited as I always am to finish, because for me that's an opportunity to get with a whole bunch of people and share space and share the story and get to communicate about it and feel things together and, you know, grow our relationships with one another. But I also really adore the process. You know, as painful as it's been, as hard as it's been, as difficult, like crazy. You know, equipment is broken, my computer died, my gimbal broke, my tripods, both of them broke along the way. I had a bunch of really pretty bad injuries along the way. It's been quite the journey, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love the process so much. It means so much to me. Like, as cliche and trite as it sounds, it is all about the journey. You know, that's the most important thing with regards to pretty much anything, but especially with art, you know, and with life. You know, like, what's most important is what's right now, and the journey is always immediate, you know, as if it's never happened before. And that's the way I want this film to feel when you see it as well. So, anyway, I got a lot of people looking at me now, looking at me like, what the hell's this dude doing here? And 2 of them are police officers, so I'm going to end this now, but I just want to say I'm so excited. I finished. It's a wrap. And I will, you know, keep you posted on what's going on from here. But, and I'm going to get back to doing some more serious YouTube videos now, too. And I'm also really excited because I get to clean my apartment now, because my apartment is just like filled with tripods and gimbals and, you know, cameras and notes and, you know, filters and lenses and all kinds of stuff. And I just want to clean everything up and reclaim my living space so that I can have a life again beyond just doing this. But, you know, making art is my life, and I don't take it for granted. And actually, I love it, you know, I love it. It means everything to me. And so a quick thank you to everybody who contributed to my GoFundMe campaign recently. That meant the world to me. It was quite the journey, an amazing, amazing journey. I heard from people who were very unlikely sources, and it just taught me a lot. You know, it filled my heart. I was very emotional during the whole week. I mean, it took 1 week to reach the goal, and it just, you know, it doesn't get past me that people just wanted to help me. They just wanted to support me. You know, they have no stake in it really. They just did it out of the goodness of their hearts, and I don't take that for granted. I don't take anything for granted, but the gesture that I received this week to not only finish the film, but also the opportunity to continue to heal through some physical challenges that I've been going through lately. Yeah, I can't really find words to express how grateful I really am, but trust me when I tell you, it's an elevated level of gratitude for sure. So thank you very much. I love you guys, and I don't throw that word around very easily. So yeah, I'm excited about a lot of things right now, and I'll keep you posted, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's Labor Day, and I'll shoot a little bit around here to throw some B-roll on this, show you how beautiful it is here, although it's really sunny right now, so some of these shots are going to be hard to get, but great dynamic range on the Panasonic S5, so lucky for me, I might be able to get some great shots. So, all right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace, love, tranquility, power, resilience, dedication, commitment, desire, all of it, love. All right.